Hi folks, it's Jeanette, your personal diabetes coach. If you are looking for a non-judgmental and non-boring diabetes education, then you're in the right place. If you're new here and you like what you see, make sure to click the subscribe button and ring that little bell so you know when I upload new coaching content. In this video, we are going to be making breakfasts for our first week of Veganuary. If you didn't watch the first video for shopping, go back and watch that before watching this video. But if you have everything you need, let's get started. Today, we are going to be making our first week of breakfasts for Veganuary. I've already gone shopping and got all of the supplies that I needed for all of this week's meals. If you didn't watch that video, go ahead and go back and watch that so you know exactly what you need to make all of your first week's meals for Veganuary. So for breakfast, we are going to have some oatmeal. One word on oatmeal. It can be problematic for some people and blood sugar. So definitely if you know that oatmeal just is not a good option for you, definitely skip this one. I will tell you though that the way I make my oatmeal, I make sure that I'm using the lowest glycemic index oats. I also use a lot of protein and healthy fats, and that will tend to even out your blood sugar even when you're eating about 45 grams of carbs with the oatmeal. So it's definitely worth a try. I definitely recommend keeping a little journal and writing down how certain foods or certain recipes affect your blood sugar so you know the ones that you want to go back to later or the ones that you might want to avoid. So what we're going to need today for our oatmeal is some steel cut oats. I already had these in my pantry. They're just here in this little container. It's important to choose steel cut oats. The reason for that is it has all of the part of the oats still on it. So it has the carb part, which is that middle part, but it also has the outer part, which has the protein and the fiber. And that's really going to help slow down the absorption of the carbohydrate that's in the steel cut oats. Whole rolled oats are also okay, but they are still processed just because they're rolled, whereas the steel cut oats are literally just cut in half. What you want to avoid is instant oatmeal. Those are really highly processed. It takes away a lot of the good protein and fiber, and it's definitely going to be more of a culprit to increase your blood sugar. So just stay away from the instant oats, especially the ones that come in the packages with all of the sugar and flavors inside. So we've got our steel cut oats here. The other thing that we are going to need are some frozen bananas. They don't have to be frozen. These are bananas that I had in my house and they got a little too old, so I chopped them in half and stuck them in the freezer so I could use them later. These are going to go in with the oats while they're cooking to provide a little bit of sweetness. Remember, we're going to get the sweetness from the banana, but it's not a lot. And this is going to make about 7 or 8 portions. So the one banana that's in the oatmeal is going to be split up over all those portions. So you won't find that it would raise your blood sugar like, say, eating an entire banana would. We are also going to put some dried dates in our oatmeal for some sweetness. Dried dates are a great option for sweetness because they are quite sweet. They have a lot of fiber, and they're also lower on the glycemic index than, say, table sugar. We're going to use these dates with a little bit of water and blend them up to make kind of a sugary date slurry that we're then going to put into our oatmeal. I also have walnuts. These are going to get chopped up and put in the oatmeal after it's all completely done. This is going to add a lot of good proteins and healthy fats and just make us feel a little more satisfied with our oatmeal. I am going to put a little bit of oat milk into the oatmeal right before it's done cooking, and that's just to help give it a little bit more creaminess. I cook the oatmeal first in just water and get it mostly done before I add the oat milk. I'm also going to use quite a bit of cinnamon. I love cinnamon. You can put as much or as little cinnamon in as you would like. I put about 2 teaspoons in. I like to put the cinnamon in as it's cooking because it just seems to settle in a little bit and give more of a subtle cinnamon flavor. And then finally, we've got our coarse ground flaxseed. I definitely recommend getting the coarse ground, not the fine ground. If you get the fine ground, it can make whatever you put it in a little bit pasty. You can also use whole flax seeds, but there is some question about how much of the nutrients in a whole flax seed you actually absorb. That's why I use the coarse ground. And this, again, this is going to get added at the very end at the same time we add the walnuts. So these are all of the items that we're going to need to make our oatmeal. So let's get cooking. Okay, so now that our oatmeal is done and kind of cooled off, we need to get it portioned out into the correct portions. Once we have it all portioned out, we can figure out exactly the calories and the carbs in each serving. You can portion this out ahead of time, which is what I like to do, or you can just put it in the refrigerator, know how much you need to take out, and take that much out each morning and then heat it up. I have these glass bowls with little lids. I think I got them years ago at Crate and Barrel. They're a great way to portion out meals for an entire week. So I think I'm going to start off with about a cup in each portion. So I'm going to grab, I usually like to use for this a half a cup measuring cup and put 2 in, just because it's a little less messy when you're trying to get it into your small containers. So now that we have everything portioned out, including the extra, we ended up with about 8. So I'm going to add up all of the information for the entire batch of oatmeal, and then I'm going to divide that by 8 to determine what the numbers are for the calories, carbs, protein, fat, and fiber for each serving. Now I'm just gonna pop a lid on all of these and put them in the refrigerator to be used for the whole week. Now we've made all of our breakfasts for the first week of Veganuary. We've got our oatmeal all made, portioned out into 1-cup portions and in the refrigerator to be used for the whole week. I've done the calculations for the macronutrients and the calories. So a 1-cup portion has about 284 calories, about 41 grams of carbohydrate, 8 grams of protein, 10 grams of fat, and 7 grams of fiber. So for the 41 grams of carbohydrate, remember, if you have a meal that has more than 3 grams of protein in a serving, you can subtract that number from the grams of carbohydrate. This is especially important when you're dosing for insulin because the insulin is going to affect you differently with that higher fiber content. So in this case, although the carbohydrate grams is 41 in this 1-cup serving of oatmeal, we can subtract the 7 grams of fiber, so your body's actually seeing about 34 grams of carbohydrate. The calories per serving is about 284, and for most people, that's probably not enough for a full breakfast meal. If that's the case for you, you can bump up the calories with something like some fresh fruit or some extra nuts. I like to put a little bit of oat milk on top of it just to make it a little bit creamier. So definitely pay attention to how much you're adding, but with the calorie content of this meal, you can definitely add some things to it to bump that up. Hopefully you've been able to follow along and hopefully you really like this oatmeal recipe. Definitely let me know down in the comments if you make it and what you think of it. And if you liked this video and you found it helpful, go ahead and hit the like button so other people can find it too. We'll see you in the next video. Bye!